All in Sports Network. We love sports.
It is Saturday, December 13th, and this is your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns right here on All In Horns. I'm Tanner Carlson. That's Jake Jimerson. We do not have an immediate reaction episode for you this Saturday, and so we are going to go down our favorite list of bowl games to bet on, and we're going to give you some of those spreads that we like, some money lines that we might like. We're also going to play a little game of what if, and give you just a quick little short episode. This is probably going to run about half the length of what our normal episodes are. We're going to run for about 15 to 20 minutes just to give you an idea of what you're tuning into today. And then we'll let you get on with the rest of your weekend. Jake, how are you doing?
Good. It's been a much needed break. Honestly, Longhorn football was after that last bye. That was the most intense stretch of games they've had in maybe since, back in the Colt McCoy days, honestly.
I mean, I would say probably since the season finale of last year with Texas Tech, going to the Big 12 championship game and then the playoff game. But I wouldn't even say
quality of opponent was
right.
So
I would say that you kind of knew Texas was going to dominate at least one or two of those games. Texas Tech, Oklahoma State, and then going into the playoffs was stressful, obviously.
Last year was more so getting over your PTSD to know they were going to beat a bad Texas Tech team. They were going to beat a bad Oklahoma State team that had no business being in a conference championship game. But this year it was, you're going against teams that have beat top teams that, play good football. And if you don't play well against, you're going to lose. Tough road environments. Obviously the A&M game, it turning into what was the biggest game in the history of that rivalry, with what was on the line in that game. And so this has been a nice break. Normally on a bye week, I'm like, well, I actually kind of wish the Longhorns were playing by Saturday. This week, I'm like, okay, this is a nice break. I think a lot of the fan base needed it. I mean, you would have thought that the season ended last week. And so now it's time to start to reshift and focus, but we'll leave that more as far as podcast goes for next week, and spend this weekend kind of just starting to get ready for a playoff game in DKR, which is really exciting.
The players needed a mental break. I think the fans needed a mental break as well, and it'll be kind of nice to hit a reset button going into the college football playoffs. Jake, let's play a little game of what if to get this episode started, and then we will get into our best bowl bets. Jake, what previous Longhorn would you pick to replace a starter on this year's team? One offense, one defense.
Yeah, so I have a very recent player and a very much older player for this. On offense, I am going to go with Earl Campbell.
Okay.
Just because I don't want to say
and are you replacing Trey?
I guess you'd replace Jaden Blue, I guess.
Okay.
Just based off their play this season. And this isn't a slight at Wisner saying the running back's such a weak position, but Trey Wisner is a very good running back, but Texas does not have a great running back. In a year where I think if they had a great running back, I would feel very confident about them winning a national title. And Earl Campbell can do it with or without blocking. He's the type of guy I would want to go against this Georgia team. Those teams that are a little bit better tacklers where Wisner's not quite getting as many broken tackles, not getting to that second level as much. I think Earl Campbell could make up for a lot of that. And then on the defensive end, I'm going to go with T'Vondre Sweat. I think a dominant defensive tackle that just plugs up the run game is kind of what they're missing. I almost put Byron Murphy even just because I think he would provide a little bit more pass rush. But I think the pass rush is so good from the edges that just having T'Vondre Sweat out there on those early downs to shut down
who are you replacing with?
Bill Norton. That's probably the one because that's you
got to pick a starter. Come on now, you can't.
Really?
Yeah, you can't just be like, a bottom feeder.
He's not bottom feeder. He plays a lot of reps.
Yeah, I mean, he plays reps, but
he is supposed to be like. He's their T'Vondre Sweat role as far as being a big space eater. I mean, if Alfred Collins and Vernon Broughton are just they switch off on having great games. I guess I would take off Collins. Just when I consider the game Broughton had against A&M. But those guys are kind of interchangeable. So either one, I guess, if you're going to make me get rid of a starter,
I would make you, because you can't just be like, I'm going to put Earl
Oh, yeah,
Campbell
you can't have Alfred Collins and Vernon
for-
Broughton and Tavondre Sweat on the same team like we did
Jared
last year. Give me a break.
My whole point of this was you had to take out a starter to put in a starter, and so it's not like you can be like,
I make
I'm
my
gonna
own
take out,
rules.
I'm gonna take out Jared Gibson and put in Earl
to your
Campbell.
roles. I didn't agree to your role set.
No, well,
Bill
you're
Norton plays
playing
a lot
game.
of the early snap downs and running situations.
I'm going to replace Sadir Mitchell with Tavondre Sweat.
Oh, a guy who doesn't play near the amount of snaps Bill Norton does. You have an Aggie argument on this.
Oh, wow. I didn't realize this was going to be so contentious. I didn't realize, but if we want to go
That's
into
how it works
we
out.
can.
And when it's not supposed to be contentious, it is contentious.
All right, so I'm going to take out Trey Owens. I'm going to put in Vince Young.
Again, taking out a guy who gets no snaps. But that doesn't matter. Only one quarterback plays.
That's not entirely true. You could have a 2-quarterback system.
Did Vince Young and Arch Manning and Quinn Ewers play on the same team? Because Vernon Broughton, Alfred Collins, and Tavondre Sweat literally were just on the same team.
The conversation, Jake, was not, let's go back to last year's team and play the guys that have played together before. That's not what the question was. I literally have it written down to replace a starter on this year's team. It's on the notes if you would read it.
I don't read your notes. It's not my job.
Then what's the point of having a Google Doc shared with you?
I just said I'll replace Alfred Collins with Tavondre Sweat.
All right. I will replace Quinn Ewers with Vince Young, and I'm going to change out the quarterback position. I do think that if Vince Young or Colt McCoy, interchangeable at this point, if you put one of those guys at quarterback in this year's team, you're winning a national championship.
It's the difference between a very good quarterback, which is what Quinn Ewers is, and a great quarterback. Yeah. And that's where I kind of have fallen on this whole Quinn debate that has erupted in Longhorn Nation, of where people are just taking one ridiculous side or one other side, just on the complete opposite sides. And I'm more, somewhere near the middle of, I think Quinn Ewers is a very good quarterback, but he's not a throw the team on my back, I'm going to win you this football game. Because if he was, they beat Georgia in the SEC title game.
Correct. Absolutely. 100% agree with that. And then on defense, Jake, I'm going to take out Ethan Burke. I'm going to replace him with Brian Arakpo and have Colin Simmons and Brian Arakpo coming off the edge with an Anthony Hill.
Is Burke a starter, though? Because Trey Moore and Colin Simmons could be the starters. It kind of switches sometimes.
Okay, then Trey Moore.
Is Trey Moore a starter? Because
yes.
Sometimes...
whatever. Whoever you want to... choose, other than Colin Simmons, choose your defensive end that you would replace him with, and I would say yes. I'll say yes on that without question. But yes,
forgetting about Barron Sorrell here. I'm just saying.
Oh, and Barron Sorrell. Okay, you know what? How about this? I'll take all three of them out. I'll take Burke, Sorrell, and I'll take Trey.
So now you just want no depth on the team,
and I'll put Brian Arakpo in with Colin Simmons. How about that?
Yeah, now you have no depth.
How about that for data?
One goes down, you're screwed.
Yeah, well, I'm expecting them to play every single snap because they're beast. All right. Anyway, that was a fun little just warm up exercise to get us halfway through this episode. All right, Jake, we've got about 5 minutes expected on this. Let's go ahead, get into our best bowl game bets coming up for bowl season. Jake, I love bowl season. You love bowl season. We all love bowl season. What are some games that have jumped out to you? And what will you be betting on these games?
First off, trying to pick bowl games is so hard because you don't know who have lost key starters to the portal anymore, or who are guys that are sitting out because they're going pro. So
or just sitting out.
I'll be honest, I did not do a deep dive on this. I just went off feel of teams that I doubt have guys sitting out.
It's all bowl season is. It's a feel.
Yeah. And so my first one's going to be the 68 Ventures Bowl. I love Bowling Green over Arkansas State in this game at 6.5. I think Bowling Green is a team that is much better than their record shows. I think they're 8-4. Two of those losses are to Penn State in a close game, a one possession loss, and Texas A&M in a one possession loss, which I clown A&M all the time, but when we talk about a Bowling Green going against them, that's different level of athletes on the field. So the fact they've played two teams that were ranked the majority of the year so tight, and then won the majority of their conference games, I love them in this game against Arkansas State.
Jake, for me, I've got UNLV money line in this one. The fact that Cal is favored in this game, I immediately saw the -2 in terms of Cal, and then they were -125 to win this thing. I said, oh, put my money on UNLV. And that was the first one that jumped out to me, and I think UNLV wins this one flat out. In fact, if you want to put a spread on them, I would take UNLV by maybe 6 points in this game.
Yeah, you took this one. This was going to be my underdog pick. I didn't pick an underdog in these three. That doesn't mean I'm not going to find an underdog pick that I like. I just haven't dove into it enough yet. I have enjoyed the week off, if you will. My next favorite that I'm going to pick is going to be in the Trans Perfect Music City Bowl, Missouri.
Sorry, go ahead. Go ahead. I was making a stupid joke. Go ahead.
Let's keep it.
Sorry. I know.
Keep it kosher here.
Yeah.
I got Missouri over Iowa. Missouri only a 3-point favorite. I might bet an alternate line in this, but I know Luther Burden's sitting out. This is assuming Brady Cook is playing, but even if he's not, Iowa's not going to, they don't score any points in a regular game. They're not going to score any points in this game against Missouri. Missouri will just have to score a touchdown to cover a 6-point spread.
I like that. By the way, my bowl game, if you're interested, the Art of Sport LA Bowl. Couldn't have been a better name for it. AutoZone Liberty Bowl is my next one, Jake. That's the Texas Tech Arkansas game. I think Arkansas as a 1.5 point favorite. That feels like easy money to me that they cover that with relative ease.
The portal is the biggest thing with
Arkansas has been decimated by the portal.
And a couple guys sitting out that are going pro. Jackson is one of those key guys.
That's probably the reasoning for the spread being the way it is. However, Texas Tech, I mean, not that, Micah Hudson was a huge.
He transferred because he wasn't getting playing time.
Because he didn't get anything. Yeah. So anyway, I still like this bet in favor of Arkansas. I think Arkansas covers. Now I will hit the under on this. 60.5 points seems awfully steep with these two programs. So if you don't like the spread for Arkansas or whatever, but I would at least take the under in the 60.5 points on that.
My last one is going to be the Cheez-It Citrus Bowl. I love the Cheez-It Bowl, Pop-Tart Bowl, two elite bowl games that are out
Good
there just
games.
brand wise.
The edible mascot was life-changing.
Oh, the Mayo Bowl. That's another elite
disgusting,
one.
but an elite.
Gross. I would not want to be I would lose the game intentionally just not to get the Mayo bath.
I would
and that's
throw
why
up.
I'm not a head coach.
Yeah. I'm not willing to make this.
But that screenshot lives forever when you get the Mayo Gatorade.
You can't take that off the internet. You can't take that off the internet.
That's there forever. You could win a national championship, and that's just going to be the comment section. That is just a bad image to give.
Remember when Lincoln Riley got the Mayo Bowl? Yeah.
Yeah, it's just it's a bad image to have out there in the world. But in the Cheez-It Bowl, I love South Carolina -9.5 against Illinois. South Carolina is a really young team this year. They're keeping their core. Illinois is not a good football team. They're not a top 20 football team. South Carolina, this is going to be one of those games that is
Jake,
over by halftime.
They're ranked number 20.
Yeah, well, they're going to.
You're telling me sometimes you're ranked
more than 20.
You're telling me sometimes your rank doesn't determine how good you are, Alabama. I mean Illinois. All right. My last game, Jake, that I'm in favor of now. However, Miami probably won't have the players. Probably won't have Cam Ward. Probably won't have some guys out there. But I think Miami as 4-point favorites over Iowa State. And this is in the Pop-Tart Bowl, the edible mascot. I do think Miami's going to win by more than 4 points. I think that they can at least win by a touchdown or 10, maybe double digits. I think this one will be fairly comfortable going in, and finishing this one off in the Pop-Tart Bowl. But I think Miami wins this one despite having guys out going to the draft this year.
If Cam Ward's not playing, you're going to be miserably wrong on this game, by the way.
You think so?
Yeah. I mean, he is that team. If he wasn't on that team, they might not be in a bowl game this year, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Their defense can't stop anyone. And I don't think their offense is going to look like a shell of itself if Cam Ward isn't out there.
Yeah. Once you made that point after I had already submitted these, I was like, man, that's actually a really good point with Miami. Cause I'm thinking, regular season, these are bowl games.
You're thinking about the record.
Yeah.
And
I'm thinking about the team that they were this year, not the team that they're going to be in the bowl game.
But you got to think about the team that they were this year, where they almost lost to a lot of teams. Should have lost to a lot of teams that were worse than Iowa State. Then you figure in the players that are going to be gone. I might actually bet money line on this for Iowa State.
Well, not only that, but if you want to, I think a safe bet, if that's how you really feel, how about we just switch this thing around? It was going to be in favor of Miami. You've now persuaded me. How about Iowa State just to cover the spread? I think that's probably the safest bet in this situation.
Yeah, I think that's probably the best bet to go. Granted, again, this is Cam Ward playing.
And I doubt it. I'd be shocked. If
it
he's
would be
playing
stupid to play in this game, quite frankly. When you're a quarterback and you're going to go in the top, round of the draft, playing in your bowl game is just kind of stupid. I do think when it's just a regular bowl game, it's not. Well, I don't even guess. I guess there's not even a New Year's Six anymore. It's just the playoff.
It's just the playoffs, yeah.
So at this point, if you're in a playoff and you're going to be a top 10 draft pick, a top first round pick, as quarterback, I just wouldn't be touching.
It takes one stupid player to roll up on your knee and you're done, for the rest of the season. So it just makes no sense. So, all right, Jake. Hey, that's the episode, ladies and gentlemen. That was a fun one. Quick one.
Shortest episode yet.
By far the shortest episode we've done, other than the breaking news episodes with Jonte Cook and with Justice Terry. But we appreciate everybody listening. Enjoy your Saturday. These episodes come out Tuesday through Saturday, dropping at noon. We appreciate the listeners. Like, share, subscribe. This is your daily fix for all things Texas Longhorns right here on All In Horns, brought to you by Rogue Sports Network. And as always, welcome.
All in Sports Network. We love sports.